Welcome back if you're returning. In today's video I've got a couple of boxes that I'm opening up. Everybody seemed to really enjoy that. I have a bit of a craft, and with relation to some of the things that I found in my boxes, I've got a collection of cloches that I'm going to be displaying, so I sort of show you what I've put in mine and maybe give you a few ideas if you've got cloches what you can put in yours. So let's get straight to it. This first little box, I think this was kind of a last minute box. This little dress was my daughter's. She's a completely grown adult now. She's a redhead. I used to put her in a lot of little greens and lemons, and a little teddy bear. I think that belonged to one of my sons. As I was saying about this box, those are a proper pair of Italian leather vintage from the 50s, and the first time I wore them, the little heel blocks came off, so if I can get them repaired I will. This box was kind of a mishmash of things. I think it must have been a last minute box that was packed, because it has odd items in it. Those velvet curtains came from the attic room at the last house, and then this panel, curtain panel, I'd lost completely. It's a lovely heavy velvet, and it's velvet and cord. It's beautiful. I've got one of the panels over the back door, and I've been looking for the second panel, and here it was in this box, along with this curtain. Actually, this is a shower curtain, the outside of a shower curtain, and this was one I was looking for to put in the bathroom upstairs when I redid that. So I think I will keep that. I might actually take that one to France with me. I think it'd be perfect in one of the bathrooms there. This little box is also, I think, one of those things that sort of everything got stuffed in last minute. This came from my craft room at the last house. I did have a hell of a lot of these little mannequin heads. I have a lovely collection of vintage hats, and I had them all set up on these, and I think I must have at least 4 or 5 others of these heads, which are in another box somewhere. And then these are just like bits of fabric that I guess I'd had everything in 2 big not boxes, they're like baskets, like old laundry baskets, but the big old laundry baskets that you would have had in hotels. I've got a couple of those, and those are what I keep all my materials in. And I think last minute sort of packing at the last house, these just got thrown in there because, again, these are a little bit random, the bits that I found in here. This fringe is something that I've been looking for a heck of a long time, so I'm going to keep that out, but the rest I'm going to sort of put back in, and when I do get a room in this house that is dedicated to me and my sewing and crafting, I'm going to make sure I sort everything out and keep everything together this time, because this is stuff that I use all the time, and it's really awkward when bits of it are in the house, bits of it in storage, and then the rest of it I just didn't know where they were. So it's nice to start finding things that I've been looking for over a year. Now I'm going to apologise for my camera. This is a new phone that I'm using, and I've got it on the wrong setting with the camera, and it's picking up the tablecloth. It's focusing on the tablecloth as opposed to the actual cups and saucers. These cups and saucers were in display in my kitchen cabinets at the last house. As I said, I've got a really lovely big collection of cups, saucers, dinner, everything that you would have needed for either a wedding or a tea shop, like I said. So I'm going to have to decide which I'm going to keep and which I'm going to sell on, because I have so many. But these were some of my favourite ones. There's a couple of really nice spring ones, and there's a fall ones, and then there's this little glass vase with these. I like those little grids on top when you're putting your flowers in them. This set, actually, I had a whole set that went with that, and I don't know why that's not with it, because there's a spoon, there's a tea, there's a saucer, there's a little creamer and sugar bowl. So these little saucers, and these all have saucers with them. I'm just going to unpack them shortly. And in this set there's a really nice tea set as well, which I'm going to be giving to my granddaughter because she really liked it. This set is a lovely set. It's a really old one. It's a lovely white bone china with gold trim, and it's got some lovely very light blue and grey flowers on it. It is English bone china again. It's a teapot, a pot, sugar, a creamer, 6 cups and saucers. One of the cups actually got cracked during at some point. This lovely little teapot again was one of my favourites. It had the little sugar cube, little sugar prongs. I've got a couple of pairs of sugar prongs that I've collected over the years, and again, varying times. I think the little gold teapot, the red and gold teapot, I've probably had that for about 15 years. And of course, when I started picking these up, I just used to pick them up to use them, and they would literally be $1. You know, the teacups used to be 50 cents. You can't buy a teacup now for under $5, I don't think. So I'm going to have to see. Like I said, I don't have room to keep everything. I do have some lovely tea sets, but I'm going to have to figure out what to get rid of and how much, because like I said, I think it's best to sell it all in a job lot for somebody who's getting married, and it's probably going to be a lot cheaper to buy this and then maybe sell it on to somebody else who's doing the same, because otherwise it's going to cost them a lot if you're spending $5 for every teacup. So hopefully I'll find some deserving bride who's on a real tight budget and give it to her for an amazing price. But here's the collection of cloches that kind of got me started on my cloche capade, we'll call it that. Now, some of my cloches do have bases, a couple of them don't, and I wanted this one to fit directly inside my tall glass cloche. So I made 3 circles, I cut them out of this foam core, and then I just glued them all together with hot glue, and then literally just wrapped it like a gift. I put a strip all the way around the outside. I cut it all the way along so that it would fit the circle, and glued it down with the Mod Podge glue, and then once that was down, I covered it all with another circle of the same paper, which covered all these little bits and gave me a really nice base for my this one is going to be a butterfly cloche. So I have pieces of wire that I'm going to be sticking into this foam core, and it holds it all perfectly. It looks pretty. If you've got wood, it's always great, but it saves me having to drill into wood. So this is a quick idea. It fits perfectly inside the cloche, and it's exactly what I needed to use to put my little butterfly sticks into. I've made the base out of foam core, covered it in nice paper, and then I'm using this wire. This wire is very, very flexible. I'm using the wire cutters to cut it, but you can also use long skewers, the bamboo skewers that you use for when you're making kebabs. I decided to stick with this because I like the colour of this wire. I picked up these 2 packets of the little butterflies from the dollar store, and they're very pretty little butterflies. I bought 2 the same because what I did with some of them, I stuck them on the front and the back, but it doesn't matter. These looked like butterflies. They didn't have any glittery bits on, they looked real from a distance. They didn't look artificial, or as artificial as some of them. So I've decided, I think I used 5 pieces of wire in different lengths. So I had a taller one that was a little smaller, and they gradually went down in size. And then with these little butterfly stickers, they have a line of glue down the center. So what you can see I've done here, I've stuck it to the little copper wire. I've put one on the front and one on the back. I didn't do this with all of them, I just did it with some of them. I decided it wasn't necessary to do the back and the front, because you're not really going to see these from the back and the front, you're only going to see them from the front. So most of them I just did one-sided, but I just stuck them on various sizes on various sticks. There was no rhyme or reason to it, and I put probably 4 or 5 on each stick depending on the size. To be honest, I always thought the cloche was a Victorian invention, but because it's been reintroduced into design during the last decade, I didn't know that in 1623 the glass cloche was invented to help the French gardeners propagate seeds during spring. It was really a portable greenhouse, and cloche is the French word for bell jar. And it was traditionally used by the French, and then the Dutch and the English started using them. Over time it was brought indoors and it was used to protect items. In France there was a trend, it was called the Globe de Marie, and it was a marriage globe, and it became popular and was given to a bride and groom to commemorate their wedding. However, it was the Victorians who especially enjoyed using them in their decor. It not only called attention to groupings of treasures that they had, but it showed your wealth, as glass was very expensive. I love to decorate with them because I think it's a nod to the Victorians, but also an item in a cloche reminds me of a moment in time, and it's like it's magically captured beneath the glass. So if you're looking for showcase some of your decorator pieces, here's a few ideas. You can see I have quite the collection of bell jars. The bigger ones are the ones that I tend to use, but I do use these little ones in my curio cabinet. The one is just a little candle champagne bottle with some little bits of jewellery and a snuff container, and then there's a little leather bound book with a vintage picture in. Again, it's just something to display your items. This big bell jar is the one that I use mostly. I change it out seasonally. This was the last time I've used this. It was just like a little display for the Queen. I tend to put the moss in the bottom just because it's a glass little piece that I have on the bottom of this one, and it just looks better. So obviously if you're using moss, you can actually stick that down to a piece of board that's the same size as the base of your cloche, but you don't necessarily have to do that. You can see on the table I've got all sorts of different things out that I was going to, because I'm going to use different items for different themes of my cloches. So anything that you have you can use, whether it's books, jewellery, flowers. I've got this old camera. Now I've got a collection of cameras. I was going to put them on top of books, and in the long run I decided this was a better look.